All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast, talking Auburn football here for Vernon Speak Sports. Auburn Football Sports Talk. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Like I told you guys yesterday, I had a chance to take a very objective look at the Auburn versus Minnesota game on yesterday. Sometimes when you go back and look at a game, the game is not quite as terrible as you think, especially looking at it from a fan perspective. There were a few key points, though, that I was a little disappointed by, and mostly from the coaching staff, to be fair with you. I thought Auburn did an excellent job of coming back, and the game was tied at 24 going into the fourth quarter. Auburn goes into the fourth quarter with 3 timeouts. That's where my level of intrigue and game management for Gus Malzahn and his staff start to come to play. Now, we did see for most of the game, P.J. Fleck and the Minnesota Gophers were basically playing keep away, saying, look, you either get us off the field or we're going to keep this ball and we're going to run the clock. We're going to maximize every second that we have on this play clock. We're going to lull your defense to sleep, and then we're going to hit you with a big play. That's where the long touchdown of 73 yards came in the fourth quarter. A little play action here, a little quick pass there, a little running back here, a few running plays there. Next thing you know, P.J. Fleck and his staff caught a really, really nice break where you have Smoke Monday, who's already nursing an ankle injury for the most part because he was limping around in that first half. You catch him on a one-on-one matchup with one of your best wide receivers on the team, easy 6. Okay, we give you that. 31-24 with about 10 minutes left. Auburn has all 3 timeouts. Like I said before, this is where things get a little tricky for me. I don't understand why Auburn didn't, at least at certain points, to slow the game down. It got all the way down to the 3-minute mark, and Auburn still had basically 3 timeouts. And that level of game management showed a huge lack of urgency. For whatever reason, Auburn still had a chance to win the football game. Even with the play calling, I just don't get why Auburn did not continue to go with the tempo. Once Auburn went tempo, their identity, or what we think is their identity, because we never really established what Auburn's offensive identity was throughout the whole year. But I thought going into the second half, and they did start to do it, I was talking to one of my little Facebook groups, messengers, where I was like, look, Auburn is going to have to start going tempo for several reasons. First of all, to create some type of, non-predictability, because Minnesota's lining up. There's no urgency. There's no adjustments being made. They don't have to worry about substitutions, so Auburn's got to speed this thing up. They're playing right into Minnesota's hands. They got to speed this thing up to give them a chance. And lo and behold, nice drive, score, even though Boobie Whitlow fumbles down there, but score, get back into the football game. Then, after that, they go back to the traditional, predictable offense, and they couldn't move the ball. They moved the ball, get a couple first downs here and there, but no degree of urgency, in my opinion, late in the game for Auburn to do what they needed to do to get to win the game, despite the fact that they were outgained grossly. Minnesota had twice as many first downs as Auburn had, dominating the time of possession. So even with all of that, not to take anything away from this Minnesota football team, Auburn with a viable opportunity to win the ball game late. I just don't think the coaching staff had, I was actually just trying to figure out the logic. I do understand that bowl games aren't, high consequence. Of course, Auburn has already locked in the majority of the targets in their recruiting class. So many fans are like, man, this is going to hurt the recruit. Like, just think about what you're saying. So you're telling me that a recruit that has had a relationship with Auburn for whatever amount of time, they decide they want to continue their career here. they want to start their college career or take advantage of their college career at Auburn. You telling me they're going to jump ship because Auburn loses the Outback Bowl? I don't think that's fair logic. I'm not going to call anyone who thinks that illogical. I just don't think that's fair logic, and I don't think you're doing yourself a service by that level of thought. Now, many fans may have wanted to decommit from Auburn because of losing to Minnesota, but I don't think a college kid, a high school kid who's, wants to continue their athleticism is going to do so because of a loss in the Outback Bowl. If anything, they look at it and say, hey, man, I want to get in here and help out, especially if you're an offensive lineman. You're thinking, man, I want to get into this thing, and I really want to have an opportunity to have immediate playing time because you got seniors leaving. Good luck to them. They're leaving off the offensive line, so that position is wide open. And Auburn has done a really good service to themselves by recruiting multiple offensive linemen because you want to have some skill sets to choose from. Now, Auburn is definitely on tap for a gentleman out of Lithonia High School. He's going to be making a visit to the Auburn Tigers here in a couple of weeks. Broderick Jones, he's one of the highest rated linemen in the country, and and it shows on 24/7 that his interest level in Auburn is warm at this point. He has a scheduled visit January the 31st, and I think that will be a huge gain for the Auburn Tigers in this recruiting class. If they're able to land Broderick Jones, you're talking about 2 5-star recruits. That should jump Auburn to the number 7 ranking, probably to a strong 5. And also not only a high ranking as far as statistically, but when you look at the totality of the roster of this recruiting class, I think Auburn's got a lot of quality here as well. All right, guys, let me know in the comment section what baffled you in this particular Outback Bowl where Auburn faced Minnesota. That clock management between the middle of the third quarter and the middle of the fourth, and the lack of urgency on offense, especially after having some success with the run pass option and the zone read and hurry up no huddle. I just didn't get why Auburn got away from that and just did not do anything in the fourth quarter to call timeouts or do anything to slow the clock down when it was obvious what PJ Fleck and his staff was doing. All right, go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Auburn Football Sports Talk here with Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.